There are few queries. I'll just put the message again in the group.
Yeah.
Nina. We can start off, Raghuramji.
Okay. Would you want me to take the queries first before we start?
No, it is regarding the password for the session.
Okay.
So we can start off with the session, Raghuramji.
Right. Okay. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Many people commented about this Mandukya Upanishad. They assume this consciousness or the Atman, Jivatma, or Paramatma, or the Brahman, and then they try to explain it. But the way that I look at it, you see, let's go in a very simple way. We started our journey trying to understand that we would like to explore our own experience. And in our own experience, is there the experience of who am I? The consciousness, or the who am I? That's the main thing. Let's not even word it as consciousness. So, because this word consciousness has come now. When sages have written, there is no question of consciousness. And at the time when the rishis have written that, Atma is a term given for the individual self. That means Atma is me. To say that I, that's what is Atma. So where are you? I am here in Prashanti. That I is Atma. So let us take it that simple way, that Atma. And we are now exploring about this Atma. That is what? Based on our own experience. And all our experiences can be divided into three different types of experience or category of experience. One category of experience is what we said is the wakeful experience. And he has given the whole description of that in the first sutra. Then he has given us the description of the second category of experience we all have. That's what is the dream experience. And when we categorize this experience, wakeful and the dream, the idea that he gave us to see that how we take the benefit of this experience by categorizing. One very simple idea that he gives is that, is there these experiences, are they giving me nourishment? If it is not nourishment, choice is mine. I can leave it alone. I don't have to worry about it. There may be hundreds of things which are there, which I don't know it. I'm not interested also, because the contribution of that for my nourishment is something which I don't see anything like that. So many things that are there in the food, part of the food, but I see that what is nourished for me, I take it, the rest of it I leave it. Not only we do it, the whole nature does it. This is not a very difficult idea to understand. As far as the food is concerned, that we can do that. But at the same, when there itself is something that we really can make an amendment in that, because many times when you look at it, the food we take it is junk food, which is not useful for us, not nourishing for me, but I still take it for various reasons. The reasons are that, why do I want to waste my food? So therefore I have to take it. All these questions come up. Or whether I'm hungry or not, I take food because I don't know whether I get this food again or not. All these things take me away from the simple idea that is this what I take nourishing. But Ekona Vimshati Mukha, he says that idea is that what you are here, also that I can use the same filter. If it is good for me, I hear. Otherwise, God has given us 2 years one to enter, one to get out, so that therefore I can be free from that. I don't have to hear that. Whereas the same thing about what I see, there are so many things that's there in front of me, including, you see, the filter that is there already available in our eyes. Like, for example, all that what is there in front of us that we don't see it. We use a filter. In fact, eyes themselves are capable of seeing is not that. Eyes filter so that you can see only the certain amount of it. The example for that is that when you go for eye testing, the doctor will put the eye drops, dilators, pupil dilators. When it is pupil dilator, that means to say the eyes do not constrict so that whatever the light in front of it goes into your eyes. At that time, when it happens like that, you just can't see anything in front of you because if you are driving in the night, particularly, you see the headlights that come in front of you, blinds your eyes. You can't see that. So, therefore, the eyes do not see because the eyes have a capacity to see. But eyes filter the information, therefore, we can see it. Similarly, ears, all over that there is sound here. There are so many noises which are there. But our ears are filtered. Instruments also filter so that I can only hear that which comes through my instrument. My phone, my mobile phone gives me a filtered information of all the things and what is directed towards me, and I hear that. So we use the filter. Nature also uses the filter. We also use the filter. And we need to use filter much more than that. Like, for example, outside, all the sounds that are there, are we going to hear all the sounds? We can just use the filter. And ears at least have eyelids to cover. Eyes have the eyelids to cover, but ears do not have. The flaps are there, but they are not useful to cover. So we have to use that filter. What is useful, you hear. What is not useful, then leave it alone. Those days, when all these cell phones were not there, crossbar system was there on telephones. And a friend called his Mullah Nasruddin and said, Mullah, how are you doing? And Mullah said, yes, I'm doing fine. How are you? Khairiyat, some khairiyat. How is Eid? How is festival? Both of them were conversing. Everything is fine. Suddenly, then that person asked, Mullah, finally, I just want to ask you, what about the money that you borrowed from me? Immediately, Mullah said, hello. I said, can you not hear? No, there's something, some disturbance is there. So come again. He said, so how is everybody? How is Bhabiji? How is everything? Everything is fine. And then he asked, Mullah, what is the money that you borrowed? Mullah said, hello. Every time he says that, Mullah says hello. Meanwhile, those crossbar system, the operator used to be there. The lady operator, she comes on the line. She says, sir, everything is clear. The clouds are not there. Voice is very clear. And I can hear all those things. And then you were also hearing. Why suddenly it happened? Mullah said, I don't know, suddenly that, the voice is jammed. I can't hear anything. That lady said that, but I can hear clearly. Mullah asked her, so what is that you heard clearly? And then she said that money that you borrowed, you heard clearly? She said, yes. Then you give it back if you heard. I didn't hear, therefore I don't have to. So use the filter. You can use the filter. So in all the senses that we use the filter, not only in this, even in the beautiful thing about the Mandukya Upanishad is, he says that even the intellect is something. If it is for the nourishing, you use the intellect. Otherwise, don't use the intellect. Somebody argues, therefore I argue. Somebody says something, I also say something. Don't have to say that. And not if you don't say that, then we will try to see that how our BP goes up, our heart rate goes up. There is no need for that. Just smile and leave it alone. It's all right. You said everything. Yes. Okay. Then you unburden yourself, unburden. Now you sleep peacefully. I also sleep peacefully. There's nothing like that. We have to worry about it. If you do this thing in the wakeful state experience, this itself is extraordinary for us. And this is what he says, Stula Bhupu, gross world. The idea is Vaishwanaraha. That means to say it is everybody's experience. The whole world has this thing. This is where we can interact in the world outside. The second set of experiences is the dream experience. Taijasaha, made out of light. And you throw the light and you create the whole image, and then you interact with that. There also that you see that once you enter into that dream state, the whole world is right in front of you, as real as a world outside. But outside world is real for the Vaishvanara. Internal world is useful for Taijasa. It's as real as that. So therefore that you have all the experiences of a real world, but in the dream state. Only thing is that it cannot be communicated, it can be transferred to the others. You can't say that I had a dream and you have to believe in my dream. It's not possible. It's something that is your own. And it has its own purpose. And if you can recognize that purpose, then you can use the dream for your benefit, for your nourishment. This is what it says, Pravivikta. This is what is Sukshma world. Vivikta is open, Pravivikta is something which is behind that. Yes, and we all have that. We all have a world inside. And this world is not only in the dream that we enter into the sleep, but even in the normal course of time also we can dream. That's what is the daydreaming. And we are able to dream. That's why we created so many objects, so many things. Like, for example, we see the bird flying in the sky, and we dreamt that we can also fly in the sky. That's how the flying machines are created. Fish swims in the water, and also said that I can swim in the water. That ability to dream is something which I created that. So all this world is supposed to be subtle world. We work in the subtle world. And it is something that we know that the subtle world is manifest but not expressed. It manifests, but it is not expressed. The same thing is like, for example, 9 months a child is there in the mother's womb. And the child starts with a small little cell, and that cell has the whole child in it. So as it grows, the expression takes place. Over 9 months, the child expresses, and good enough expression so that the child comes out of mother's womb. Until that time, the child was never breathing. Until that time, child never had an independent heart beating. It's all basically the mothers that he is to share. But the moment he came out, look at the way that he is thrown out into the world where he has to manage himself, and he is capable of managing. And that's what is the Srishtikarta has designed in such a way that we can manage, we come out of it. But that is not the complete growth. As we grow, slowly what happens, the legs are there, but then they don't have strength. Hands are there, they don't have strength. Fingers are there, they don't have the grip. All these things over a period of time, they develop. Similarly, brain, it also develops 3, 4, 5 years. You see the child develops the brain, child develops the mind, intellect. All these things come up. You can see that how slowly it is manifesting. Where is it coming from? It's all there in the subtle form. Inside individual, inside the person is subtle form. The same thing in the case of a seed also. Subtle form, everything is there. It manifests when the tree comes up. It manifests all those things. It gives a manifestation to all those things. So it's already there. Expression was not there. Now expression is there. What manifestation is there? Expression is there. That's what is called as the gross world. Manifestation is there, but expression is not yet there. That's what is the subtle world. So where is the expression? The expression is there in the subtle world, so that it comes out. Subtle world is something which is not available for instruments. You take a seed, and in the seed, would you like to want to see the tree? You can't see. No instrumentation will give you the impression of the tree. But then it is there. So therefore, that there is a whole subtle world which is not available for any instrumentation. That shows that our eyes and ears, etc., body is also nothing but instrument. And these instruments are there, and then there are instruments we can support this. Like a very simple idea that eyes can see, but we use the glasses to see that clearly. An instrument that we use it. But without the eyes, only glasses cannot help us to understand that. There must be things. We must have eyes, then only glasses are there. We must have the knowledge, then only that we see the object, then you can make sense out of it. A villager went to a optician, and then he looks at your eyes and all that through the machine and all those things, and afterwards, I can fix your eyes, that he put the all those things and lenses, this and that. He says, once I give you a particular proper kind of glasses, you can read this, whatever that is there in the chart, all the letters that are there. Oh, he was very happy. He said, I can read all those things. He said, yeah, once a proper glasses are fixed to you, you can read all those things. The villager said, by fixing glasses, I can read all those things. I don't know why I sent my child to the school. At school, basically, that you have to have the knowledge, then only you can read it. Otherwise, you can't. When first I went for the glasses, testing for glasses, I used to, I don't know, school, primary school, middle school, something like that. And my friend used to copy it, whatever that is there in the board. And I would copy from his book. And then every teacher, whoever sees that, he shout at me, why are you copying? I said, you're interested that I should write the notes. I am writing the note. Why are you bothered where I'm writing from? But one intelligent teacher came to me. He said, Raghuram, how is your friend is writing? He said, he's sitting on the board and writing. And how are you writing? You're sitting next to him. I'm seeing his notebook and read. See, when he is writing, seeing on the board, why don't you see on the board and write it? He said, I can't see it. See, if he can see, you can't see it, that means something wrong with your eyes. Wow, yeah, that's the truth. I realize that. And your father is a doctor. Why don't you go and tell him? He'll fix your eyes. Hey, right idea. I went to my dad. And my dad was sitting, and I went to him and said, next neighbor is sitting, and then he's looking at the board, blackboard, and he's writing, and I'm reading all this. I say, hey, don't talk all this nonsense. You can't see what is written on the board. I said, yeah. Then he said to his friend, who is also a doctor, but he has a whole optical set. So he said, you go to him. I went to uncle. See, after all, my father said that. I went to him and I sat down. And then he made me sit down. And then, what happens? That there is chart in front of it. He said, close your left eye. I closed my left eye, open the right eye. See the chart, first line, second line, third line. I read all the lines. Then he said, close your right eye, open the left eye. Yes, I did. I followed the instructions clear. Read the chart. I read the whole chart. Top line, second line, third line, fourth line, every line. Good. And then he was writing a report. While writing a report, I told him, Uncle, I can read the chart with both eyes closed. It was a shock for him. He said, show me. I closed both my eyes and read the whole chart. He said, how did you read it? I said, my father is a doctor. He has the same chart at home. I memorized. You cheated me. I said, hey, I told you. Then he said, okay, now I'll play another trick. And then this time he put the chart, which is letter E. Once this way, one this way, one this way, one that way. Even first line, I could not read it. Forget about the last line. Then he fixed a bridge, maybe, ice bridge, and then put the chart, put the glasses in that, made arrangement and all that. And then I could read all the lines. Wow, I was so happy. Without my memory, I can read all the lines, everything that was there, I could see that. Wonderful. So he made a glasses for me and gave it to me. That day, I discovered the whole world. With those glasses, when I go outside on the street, those days cinema posters used to be there. When I saw that, I seen cinema poster. Heroine looks different from hero. Until that time, they were looking alike. That means basically that you should have eyes to see. And then only the instruments are there. But eyes are also instrument for you in the wakeful state. The same way in the dream state also, eyes are your instruments. And the whole world is there that you see. Therefore, basically, whatever that is there in the wakeful state, your instrument, and an object that is there, both these things are there in the dream state. It's as real as the real world outside. There is nothing wrong about it. Only thing is that they say that this is short-lived, that's long-lived, fine. Even that's also long-lived. How much is it? 70, 80, 100 years, not more than that. Compared to the time of the life of the earth and all that. Where is it? Very, very small. But anyway, therefore, that there is a parallel between the wakeful and dream state. But only thing is, dream state, I cannot transfer it in the wakeful state individual. The third experience we have is the deep sleep state, dreamless sleep state. That's what he has given the mantra. He says that Yatra supto na kanchana kamam kamayate, na kanchana swapnam pashyati. Na kanchana kamam kamayate, the wakeful state experience, the mind thought activity, it is not there. Na kanchana swapnam pashyati. Even the swapna is not there. Dream is also not there. Tat sushupta. This is what is sushupta. Sushupta sthana eki bhutaha and prajnana ghana. Now here, bahish prajna is the wakeful state. Anta prajna is the dream state. Because that your prajna, awareness is there about inside. Sthula is there, that is what is sukshma. And third one is in the deep sleep state. What happened to the prajna? He says prajnana ghanaha. That means to say your prajna has become like a solidified, become like a solid. It has lost its details and all that. That's what is prajnana ghanaha. And eva anandamayaha. So this is a very important idea. Said that deep in sleep state, we have anandamaya. It's the experience of ananda. And normally what happens, our ananda is something which is based on sensory organ and the perception. That means to say, the experiencer instrument is there and the object is there. That's what is the ananda that we have. Like I eat some sweet and then tongue is there and sweet is there, that I get the ananda. But then in the deep sleep state, the ananda does not depend upon any sensory organ. Sensory organ cannot come there in the deep sleep state. In fact, the moment that sensory organ comes, naturally your sleep is disturbed. You wake up. So therefore, but then you have an experience of ananda. And that's what he says, that in the deep sleep state, eki bhutaha, everything is solidified, all the senses, everything experiences become one unit, and then prajnana ghanaha, the prajna has become solidified, and then anandamayaha, that means you become ananda, eva ananda bhuku tejo mukha, cheto mukha, ananda bhuku. Here also, ananda is for the sake of your experience and also for the sake of your nourishment. A very important aspect that he gives about this deep sleep state for the sake of nourishment, we have to be very careful to see that how deep sleep can be nourishment. Is if you're really tired, you really worked hard, then you sleep, and that wake up with refreshed energy. You're energetic at that point of time. A person who is in the hospital and is going through all the struggle of infection and fighting them, and that fellow sleeps, he comes out as a healthy person. In fact, the doctors say that, did you sleep well? To the patient, I slept well. Then he'll be assured that he's recovering. Recovery is possible when you have a good sleep. Same way, a person who is really tired goes to sleep, he wakes up and with energy. All that exertion is gone. This kind of a sleep is something which is nourishing sleep. That's what he says, that Anandamaya, Ananda Bhuku. But then there is certain sleep where it's not nourishing. That means a sleep which is not really needed for the body as a part of you, but a sleep that you try to escape from the wakeful state, you go to the sleep. A very simple example is that you see that after the food in the afternoon, when you take the food, then there is a stomach activity is going on and the energy goes to the stomach. So therefore that you can give rest to your head. In fact, nature gives the rest to the head. So therefore, you see a star, you sit down comfortably, don't do any mental activity, you are relaxed. And after about, say, half an hour, you feel refreshed because the stomach activity is over, then you are free. But the same thing in the afternoon, you sleep for about a couple of 2-3 hours because nothing else to do. That means that sleep is escaping from the wakeful state. And when you wake up from that kind of a deep sleep state, that does not really relish you. That does not really give you tonic. In fact, you feel that whole evening becomes miserable. You feel depressed. You are non-functional. Laziness will be there. you feel that as if that your body doesn't cooperate with you. See, recognize that sleep so that don't give room for that kind of a sleep. You don't have to do it. Look at the way that animals, they don't do that. They are awake. Just because there's nothing else to do. Yes, they don't have anything else to do. But in spite of it, they don't sleep. They keep wandering, they keep going around, become themselves active. And when they sleep, then they go to sleep. Children are also like that. They don't go to sleep if they don't have sleep. They'll be playing around. They have nothing to do. Later on, they have to do a lot of things, but then as a child, that they don't have to do anything. Mother will be happily sleeping because of she's tired, but the child will be sitting by her side, happily playing. He doesn't sleep. See, he doesn't abuse the sleep. Deep sleep also is something that is ananda bhuku, that you are supposed to nourish from that. If you can do that, then you see that you can. This is what is called as a sattvic sleep and a tamasic sleep. Tamasic sleep is that sleep that you go to. So that tamas means heaviness. After that sleep that you feel heavy. After such a kind of a sleep, 2-3 hours in the afternoon you sleep, wake up. Even whatever simple activities you want to do, you want to avoid it. You can't do it because you become lazy. So that's why Ananda, he says that Ananda Bhuku Cheto Mukhaha. That means your whole focus is towards the Chetana and Prajnaha Tritiya Pada. So this is what is the third Pada. These are the three states that we have in experience. Now, wonderful that all these three states are now explained. And one very important thing is that all these three states are independent, very clear, and we have experience of that. Everybody has an experience of all these three states. Wonderful. And the next sutra, that's what is basically the sutra that he gives. Sixth sutra. As I said, there's a very short Upanishad. And the sixth sutra he gives is Esha Sarveshwaraha. This is supposed to be Sarveshwaraha. This deep sleep state is Sarveshwaraha. A very, very beautiful idea that, and he is everything that is there, Sarva Ishwaraha. That means to say, whatever the divinity that is there, it is at that level. Sarveshwaraha, Esha Sarvajnaha. All the knowledge is there at that level, the deep sleep state. Esha Sarvajnaha, Eshaha Antaryami. That means to say, he has the whole space inside him. And Yonihi Sarvasya Prabhavapyayahi Bhutana. Esha Yonihi. Yoni is that is the seed. That's a womb. The whole Vaishwanara, the whole creation is, you look at the womb, that's what is the womb. Like the way that you go into that deep sleep state, dreamless sleep state, which is supposed to be your own womb. And from there, everything comes up. There's also the whole universal level. That is a state, it goes into the deep sleep state, which is supposed to be Yoni. And Sarvasya Prabhavapyayahi Bhutana. From this, everything comes out and then goes back into it. You see the deep sleep state, all the problems, all the worries, anxieties, everything is just gone into the yonihi, that means seedal form. That's what he says, that seed form, prajnana ghanaha. So that means to say it's a solidified form, it's a unified form that is there. And from that, when you wake up, all these things come up. Like, for example, your worries, anxieties, whatever that was there before you go to sleep, when you wake up, slowly or after that, they come up. Your activities continue. That's how basically what happens is that you see, however much that you go to the deep sleep state when you get up, you continue with the activities that you are doing in the wakeful state. That looks like, that gives us unfortunately a wrong impression that wakeful state, you, is the main you. Other things like dream and the deep sleep state, you just neglect it, you put it aside. That's why the Western psychology, Western world, did not look at these, consider these things at all. They only looked at the wakeful state, and all your problems in the wakeful state, they looked at. Because the simple reason that even though that you go to the deep sleep state, when you wake up, again all those things that were there come out. That's what, because it is Esha Yonihi. This is what is the Yoni. That's what is the womb. From that, everything comes up. Sarvasya Prabhava Priyahi Bhutara. Everything comes out. That's why in this culture we said that somebody who goes to the deep sleep state, he's like a god himself. That means there is no vices, there is nothing like that. All that vices, everything is gone in the deep sleep state. But virtues are also gone. Virtues are also not there. In fact, that's what in Raghuramji Upanishad he gives very beautifully about the deep sleep state. What happens in the deep sleep state? He says all that which is supposed to be superimposed on you are completely dissolved in the sleep state. Like for example, Tatra Mata Amata Bhavati. Mother is no more a mother. See, actually you are a girl. But only thing is mother is something which is superimposed on you. Because the childbirth that you became a mother. That's why Rabindranath Tagore says, the world sees the child born, but the Vedanta says the mother is born. And the mother is born, and the moment she goes to sleep, where is the mother? Mata amata bhavati. Pita apita bhavati. The deep sleep state, father is no more a father. Not only that, further he says, steno asteno bhavati. That means to say, even the thief is no more a thief when he goes to sleep state. Brunaha abhrunaha bhavati. Even the murderer becomes no more a murderer in the sleep state. What do you mean by that? The simple idea is mother's worries, responsibilities, anxieties. Yesterday only I was talking to one of the participants who came to Prashanti for therapy. That Prashanti is so wonderful. I said, why? Because I don't have to worry about my child, what I need to cook. It's all my husband taking care at home. So that means that worry is not there for you. Mata, mata bhavati. Pita, pita bhavati. The father has his own worries, anxieties, responsibilities. I mean, mothers will blame the father. He doesn't take any of them, but he also has his responsibilities. But then all that is forgotten the moment he goes to sleep state. Steno or steno bhavati. These are supposed to be good values, good opportunities, good necessity that you need to do. That's what is the wakeful state, where responsibilities and all that, they're important. When he says that deep sleep state dissolves all those things, does not mean they are not useful. They are very useful. But similarly, like that, even a thief has got his own worries, responsibilities. Not only that, we have worries. In fact, he has greater worries than us. Because we can do any work and then get caught for whatever that we have done. He can be excused. But the thief should be very careful. He should not get caught. He would get caught, then immediately he will be sent to jail. But he is also fortunate there. He always, whenever thief goes to the jail, he always meets with a super guru there. And he gives him hints how not to get caught next time. See, he becomes wiser when he comes out. So all these things are there. But even that thief is no more a thief. Brunaha abhrunaha about him. Even the murderer is no more a murderer when he goes to sleep state. That's why in our culture they say that if somebody is sleeping, then don't injure him, don't kill him, because when you kill him, that you are killing an innocent person there. Wake him up. Again, his venom comes out, his evil comes out. Then you kill him, then you punish him. But sleep, you don't do that. Not only sleep, even a little bit of influence of sleep is there, you don't punish him. That's the reason why when they give the capital punishment, before they execute the capital punishment, they want to see that the person they punish is healthy, had a good sleep, nice, wonderful food. All those things happen, then only they execute him. Without that, they do it. You don't know whether, you do know that whether before the execution takes place, actually, they have multiple medical checkup. And medical checkup should show that they are normal, they are fine. Then only you can execute them. See, that means to say, in the thief, the dreams, in the dreamless sleep state, there is no more good. Ananvagatam punyeta, ananvagatam papena. You are not being followed by the good virtues. You are not being followed by the vices. Nothing is there. Tirno bhavati sarvam shokanshodayasya. You are free from that. And that freedom from all those things that you have is the one which gives you ananda. That's the Upanishad. Next sentence he says, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Esasya Parama Anandaha. The Parama Ananda is that your virtues and vices are completely dissolved, and then you are pure from that. That's the reason why we get this sleep, Brahmananda. Not only that, Esosya Parama Samvita, the deep sleep state is a state which rejuvenates you, brings back your energy. Previous day when you go to sleep, you don't have any more energy. Next morning when you get up, you have so much of energy, can go for a 5-mile jog. Where is that energy coming from? It's coming from the deep sleep state. So that's what is basically the deep sleep. He gives an explanation, he gives the description of that. Esha Sarveshwaraha, because that from there all the creation takes place. Esha Sarvajnaha, every kind of knowledge comes from that. Like for example, an engineer goes to deep sleep state, wakes up, engineering is once again there. A doctor goes to deep sleep state, becomes a doctor again when he wakes up. That means to say, whatever the knowledge that he put it in the seedal form comes back. Any knowledge, anything that is there comes back. That's why Sarvajna, Esha, Esha Yonihi, that's what is the seed form. Sarvasya Prabhava. Whole creation goes to sleep and wakes up. It's not only the human being, but all the animals, all the birds, all the creation, everything is creation, goes to sleep and wakes up. That's what is the deep sleep state experience. And we all have that. But actually, in the way that he explains about the deep sleep state, it looks like that if that is the place where from every creation has come, that's why it is called as Stula, Sukshma, and this is what is Karana. And from that everything comes up. Then why do we? And he also is Sarvajna. These are the adjectives we use for the God. God is supposed to be Sarvajna. Antaryamihi, that's what is the God everywhere. He is there, present in that. So like that, is it the divinity that we go to deep sleep state? Some people even come to a conclusion that deep sleep state, you are touching the samadhi. They make a mistake of saying that it is a state of samadhi. That's why they give importance to the deep sleep state, dreamless sleep state. That's fine that they try to see that. There is no need of any other positing a samadhi or anything like that. So with that 3 different levels, it stops. So now actually that it completes the whole thing. And each is given by the word, the letter called as I is the wakeful state. Who is the dream state? Ma is the deep sleep state. Or I is the stula, who is the sukshma, and then D is the karma. Deep sleep is the karma. Makara is the karma. So that's over, finish. Actually, we have seen all those things, but we have not yet find out basic inquiry that we started with. Who am I? That I is still continuing. I is still, because why I is pending is that wakeful state I is different from the dream state I. And the dream state I is different from the deep sleep state I. So these 3 things are supposed to be coming upon you. Like the way that the childhood days, we are there, and then adolescent, we are there, adult, we are there, grown up, we are there, youth, we are there. So that means that it looks like that so many states have come upon me, and that I experience all these states, I'm behind it. I might forget some things, but I have gone through this. Like, for example, you see your own childhood type photograph, can't believe that it is you, because today you look so different, but it is you only. So therefore, that you go through all these states, different. So you must be behind this. But then this is what our revelation about our experience, which is divided into all these 3 states. This is where basically it looks like that you have completed. It looks like our study is completed because we saw that karma is there, sukshma is there, and sthula is there. So manifestation is from karana to sthula to sukshma, and the dissolution is from sukshma to sthula to sukshma to karma. This seems to be it's over, it's finished. So therefore, actually, after this 7th sutra, this Upanishad is actually complete. But then here, Gaudapada gives us the Karikas. And then after the Karikas, then he comes to 7th, next stage, whatever that it comes out of it. Now, that state, whatever that comes out, is also part of our experience. But only thing is that unless until Upanishad suggested us, we would not have known that that state exists with us. So therefore, now this manifestation, as I said, Sukshma to Sthula to gross, or the Karana to Sukshma to Sthula. That's what is the way creation has taken place. And the deep sleep state, we go from Sthula to Sukshma to Karana. This journey that we make it. This is how basically the first thing, Agama, that means how this creation has taken place. Gaudapada gives us this Agama Prakarana. Prakarana is something which is explaining whatever that is there in simple terms. Shankaracharya also gives the prakaranas of various things, like Vedanta, he has given in the form of prakarana. Whatever the truth is there, he gives in the form of prakarana. These are called as prakarana granthas. Like, for example, Atma Bodha, Tattva Bodha, Viveka Chudamani. These are the prakarana granthas. That means to say, original truth is there in the Upanishad and Vedas, and prakarana granthas make us simpler about all these things that are there, easily understandable. Same way, whatever that so far we have discussed, Gaudapada gives us this prakarana, and that is what is Agama Prakarana. And he tries to explain about that and categorize this to see that our discussion continues. Discussion has to continue. That's why he says, Bahish Prajnaha. See, all these things which he has taken from the previous sutra, he puts it here in this Karika. He says, Bahish Prajnaha, Vibhur Vishwaha, Anta Prajnasya Taijasaha, Ghana Prajnastada Prajna, Ekayev Dhitasputaha. So these seem to be, it's not for anybody else. It's for you. It's for the individual that is there. Bahish Prajnaha Vibhur Vishwaha. So the person who has this external experience, Bahihi is outside world, manifest world outside, experience, Bahish Prajnaha, and that is there. Vibhur Vishwaha. The God for that or the one for that is the Vishwa. So, like for example, that your Vishwa is there, my Vishwa is there, everybody else Vishwa is interacting the world outside. Because we have the same Vishwa, that's why I see, you also see, I tell, you also see, I experience, you also experience. This is there in the common place. That's why Vipur Vishwaha. Vishwa is the person who is Vishwa, is the form, who is the Vibhu, who is the leader for this particular experience outside world. Then Vibhur Vishwaha, Antaprajnasya Taijasa. Taijasa, Tejo Matra, is Antaprajnaha. That means to say, internal experience. Now here again, Taijasa may seem to be different for different people at that level. Like for example, I experience my dream. And I see all the details in the dream, everything. I see you also in my dream. But only thing is that you I see is my only construct. It's not you, literally. It will not go to you. I can create the whole world in my dream state, depending upon what is necessary, what is at that moment my requirement. I will create that the same way that you also create. We may be sleeping in the same place, same together, but at the same time, your dream is totally different from my dream. It cannot be even transferred just because that we are in the same place. So therefore, that this experiencer, your experiencer is Vaishva, and my experiencer is Vaishva. Your experience is Taijasa, my experience is Taijasa. Taijasa is one and the same thing. Because one and the same thing, in the sense that when I say that I have dreamt, you also can understand what is meant by dream. Because you also have a dream, similar kind of thing. Dream may not be the same, but the state is the same. So that state of Sukshma is there with everybody. What is the advantage of the Sukshma state is for everybody. That means to say, this Sukshma world, that the way that I can create, you can also create. I can create a dream world in such a way that I can make some amendment, improvement, etc., etc. You can also make it. You can also do it. That's why the science progresses. We are able to imagine something in the dream state. We regularly do it. Small little simple things, we create a Sukshma world. Like for example, you want to make a chai. Simple thing like chai. You have an idea of chai, how to make it, it's already there in the Sukshma world. Now you bring it into the real world outside. That's what is Sthula world. And you same ingredients, you put it and you and then you cook it so that the chai comes out. So where is that chai coming from? It is coming from the soup world that you have. It comes like that from there. So therefore, Taijasa to manifest world, it is what is the Vishwa, is something which is happening constantly within us. There is nothing which is extraordinary about it. Anything is like that. In fact, because that we have that, we are able to make all these things progress that is possible. So, imagination, all these things are part of the Taijasa. When we say that it is dream world does not mean only when we sleep. Dream world is the Sukshma world, which constantly that we take support of giving the world outside. Anything that you first of all see, you take it to the dream world. In fact, some people, their own whatever that is interest is there, they take it to the dream world. Like for example, somebody is interested in cooking. When they come across a new dish that is there, you look at them, they lick it, they taste it, and then they say, it has this ingredient, it has this ingredient. So all those things, that means they put it in the Sukshma world. So that when they go home, then they try that. We all know that. Therefore, that's how that we develop. We recognize all these things. So Taijasa world is there so strong within us. And that's very important. That's what he says that there are three things that are there. One is called as Bahishprajna, Vibhu, Vishwaha, Antaprajnasya Taijasaha, Dhanaprajnastata Prajna, Ekeva Tidaspata. Like the way that I have the Ghana Prajna, you also have a Ghana Prajna. So that means to say now he comes to this idea saying that all these three states, they are there in the world outside, and individually that we have that experience. Like the way, so like for example, outside there is air, outside there is water, outside there is fire. And the same air, water, fire are there within you also. Like for example, when it is outside, you call it as air. And take it inside, it is breath. Breath is not different from the air. Only thing is we have different names for that. Similarly, the food that we take is nothing but the gross world outside. And then the earth that is there, earth becomes food, and then you take that food, and then that becomes anna for you. So that means to say the outside world and inside there is a continuous bridge that's going on. Like the way in the case of food, water, fire, etc., bridge is there. The same way that even for these things also, gross world, subtle world, there is a bridge that is going on between the outside and inside. And it is your own inside, and you take from the world outside. Therefore, you create. In fact, let me give a very interesting account about this particular thing. How we take and create inside a particular image and particular aspect that we take it. One who could see that image in the world outside, the subtle aspect of it, he can translate into the real life more accurately. Others may not be able to do it, or may not be able to even perceive that. That's why I gave the example of Michelangelo. When he saw that stone slab that was lying down, he asked that shop fellow, how much shall I pay to take this? He said, no, I want actually somebody to cart it. I'm glad that you are taking it out, but I'm curious. Why are you taking it out? Michelangelo said, okay, I'll take it. I'll call you when it is ready. What is that I've taken this for? Took it as his workshop. And then a year later that he called this shop fellow, please come to our shop. And then he went to the shop. He saw a beautiful picture of the Mother Mary sitting and Jesus was lying down in a lap. And then he said, wow, beautiful statue that is there. How did you make it? Or who made it? He said, I made it. How did you make it? He said, this is the same stone that is I picked up from your shop. He couldn't believe. He said, but then in the shop that you saw this stone, I was also seeing this stone. But how did you pick it up? Then Michelangelo said, when I saw the stone, I saw already Jesus and that, and Mother Mary, they were crying. Please release us from this overburden so that we will come out free. So therefore, I took that stone. I did not bring them out. The only thing is I released all that which is superimposed so that it comes out. If somebody could see that Sukma world, he could translate into the real world. That's what is the idea that Michelangelo has. So we all have that Stula and Sukma, And then Karana, the deep inside the causal world is there. And we all have that. And that is what is Ekayeva Tidasmritaha. These are there within us, our own experience that is there. We have that. So slowly it gives us an idea that it's your own experience of the wakeful, your own experience of dream, your own experience of deep sleep state. This gives us a simple idea saying that you are not identified with any one of them completely and totally. This is the first time that in the mankind, somebody said like that, you don't identify yourself with the wakeful state completely. You are not that completely because that your awareness, your prajna has been divided into these three levels that you go to the wakeful state and the wakeful state prajna is there. But at the same time, you go to the dream state, dream prajna is there. But at the same time, you can also go to the deep sleep state. And that's what is prajnana ghana. All these three states belong to you. So don't identify yourself with only the wakeful state, then you will be losing. Why I'm saying that losing is that there are so many people that you see that they disconnect themselves from the wakeful state and they get into the dream world completely, totally. Hallucinations and all that will be there. They have no kind of touch with the outside world. So that is what basically the sickness. Why it has become like that? Because they see that the outside world is a burden on them. They can't bear with the outside world. Therefore, to escape from that, they go into that dream world or the deep sleep state. So therefore, that all these three things are possible. Now, this is what is basically the wakeful state. Your consciousness or yourness is something which is moving from the wakeful dream to deep sleep state. Now, the second thing he says is that what is the experience of the wakeful state, dream and deep sleep state? That's what in the eighth sutra he brings about, saying that Dakshinakshi Mukhe Vishvo Manasasyastu Taijasaha Akashe Chakriti Prajna Tirtadehe Vyavasita. Where is that you are perceiving this from? A very, very important analysis that Gaudapada gives us that. What is that? Dakshinakshi Mukhe Dehe Vishwaha. Vishwa is because of these senses that we have. Very powerful senses. Dakshina, Akshi. Akshi is the eyes. And in fact, that's why we give such a great importance to Akshi, your eyes. Everything is basically, we see that perception. Perception means what you see. All the other senses are there, but we say perception is always belong to the eyes. Similarly, you say that, anybody says anything like that. So this formula gives us this, oh, I see. You see, even in the word that we say, I see. We have given so much of importance to see. So this see means basically, actually, why we give that importance? When you look at the perceptions, 60%, 70% of perception is through the eyes. All the other senses will give a rest of 30%. That's why eye becomes so important. Akshi becomes very important. Perception means basically eyes. That's why we say that, and how much that is there, you are driving the car. Driver is driving the car, you're sitting in the car, suddenly that sound comes. What happened? You say that some accident took place. You would like to immediately see through the window what is happening. You see, unless until you see that, you don't believe it. See, that means your eyes are very important. That's why it is very nicely said. It's raining outside. Is it? And then he will go to internet and check weather report, whether it is raining. So he has to see with your eyes that way. Not whatever that is there happening outside, he is not believing in that. So that is how the seeing is something which is so important for us. Akshi. Of all the senses, eyes are very important. And that too, Dakshinakshi, that means the right eye. Or in other words, it can be split into the right and the eye. Right means basically, it is not a question of light side or left side like that. What is supposed to be the powerful side is what is called as the right side. But very nice conversation. Some people are there, they are left-handed. And then we tell them to do it with the right hand. they will have miserable time. And our culture gives them to do it with the right hand. And such a miserable time that they have. I don't know why they have given this as right and that is left. The very word meaning itself is so suggestive. That's why, our Prabha is a left-hander. You make Prabha to do a lot of things with the right hand. He just can't do it. He has to use the left hand. My son is also like that. That's why when I say to him that use your right hand, he says, my right, whatever it is left hand for you is my right hand. That's his right hand. See, right hand is that where I can do clearly, I can do properly. I can even do the painting, everything with the right hand. I can't even write my name with the so-called your right hand. See, that's why we have defined wrongly about this, given a word of right and wrong. Whereas in Sanskrit, we have very beautiful thing. Dakshina is that which is supposed to be the one which is in that direction. Dakshinakshi mukhe dehi. So that is what basically mukhe vishwaha. Manasasya taijasa. So at the senses level, what we have, that means at the body level, what we have is the Vishwa, that is the world outside. And Manasasya taijasa. The whole mind, that is your intellect, your memory, your analysis, everything is in the mind. So therefore, Taijasa belongs to your mind. Taijasa does not belong to the gross world outside. Taijasa belongs to the mind. That's the reason why when people have a lot of dreams, they say that my sleep was disturbed because my mind was so active in the dream state. Because dream is basically from the mind side. And your mind has all these memories, all these everything that you hold it in the mind. And that's what manifests in the dream state. So body level is what is called as Vaishwanara. Mind level is the Taijasa. Then Manasasya is right? Akashe Chakrati Gidehi Vajnasthita Dehe Vyavastha. This is what is the location. When you go to the deep sleep state, where the dreams are also not there, wakeful state, that means sensory perception is not there, and the dream is also not there, mind is not there, then what are you? Akashaha. That's what is basically where it is total space, and that's what is in Hridi. That's what is your heart. Heart is a place where you rest yourself in the deep sleep state. So heart is so important aspect of it, deep sleep state. And that is supposed to be Yesha Yonihi, Yesha Antaryami. And that's what he says, that where from the whole creation comes up, the seed for that is in our emotions. The seed is there in our bhavana. So we have kept the bhavana at the heart level. There's one more thing, akashaha, very important. Actually, intellect always tries to fix boundaries, whereas heart opens the boundaries. Heart takes away the boundaries. Heart envelops everything. The moment the boundary is there, that's what is the dream state. The moment boundary is there, that's what is the wakeful state. In fact, when you are looking at any object in the wakeful state, you are not only looking at the object, you are looking at the object not being there also. That's why you see the object. Outside world, therefore, it is always relative. Where the boundary is created is always relative. Blackboard is there, then you see the white chalk. If blackboard is not there, you don't see the white chalk. Movement, you see that because there is no movement. And not movement, you see that when there is movement. That's why you would always see the opposite. Like you are sitting in the train, seeing of somebody, and suddenly you see the train started going, okay, I'm going. The train started moving. The person said, no, our train is not moving. Next train is moving. You look at on this side, platform side, we are still here only. See, that means to say your movement is perceived because of the relative. We don't see the movement of Earth at all. Oh, it is going around the Earth, so many things and all that. Because we are along with the Earth, where there is, you don't see the movement at all. Movement is perceived only based on something which is non-moving. You see the seasons moving, you see the days moving, because you have somebody who is there behind the non-moving. behind in the form of phenomenon. That's why you see day has gone to the night, night has gone to the day. At this moment, you can see that. Think of those worms, flies, fireflies. They are born in the wet, when the rain is there, they come up in the evening. And then they only see the night. When the light is there, they go around the light and they die. They don't even see the night. So those insects, they don't have day and night because that they don't have something which is beyond that. So we see that because that there is duality that is created. It's a very simple idea that in the wakeful state and the dream state, we are caught up in the duality. Whereas the deep sleep state experiences that where we are beyond the duality. Yes, light creates the duality. When the light is not there, everything is homogeneous. Everything is merged together. The moment light comes up, then you see the boundaries, you see the silhouette, you see the objects created. So therefore, boundaries you create. That means to say basically that we are caught up in this thing, in this practice that we have. The vyavasthita, that is the dehe vyavasthita. What is that vyavasthita? That means arrangement that we have. Is that the wakeful state, that means the boundaries, the sense organ, they create the boundaries. With the sense organ that we perceive, that's what is the outside world. And when you use the perception with the mind and then create another mind, all the impressions in the mind, that's what is Taijasa. And then the last one is that Akashe Chakratipra. Akasha is that where the boundaries are gone. It's a very simple concept. That idea is that when we want to expand it, then you remove the construction. That's how you can expand it. Don't try to do anything, that remove the constriction, then you expand it. So that's why expansion is the way that the heart is there. And the heart, you see that when you are going to the sleep, actually, all the boundaries slowly drop off. The child going to sleep or you going to sleep, particularly when you're in classroom, you are going to sleep. All the equation that is there, whatever that is there, slowly dissolves and you are into good sleep. So this is what is the second level. Gaudapada says that this is our experience of wakeful, dream, and dream state, these three states. And further, he gives in the next sutra, and these are all the states that are there. Before you go to the next level, he says that. Now, what is the this book? That is what I said, nourishment. What is that nourishment? He gives in the next sutra, and he says that Vishwohi. Vishwohi sthula bhuktatvam. Tajasa prabhiviktam. So Vishwa, Vaishwanaraha, Vaishwa is Sthula Bhuku. Gross world is the one which gives us the satisfaction. That means if I'm hungry in the gross world, hungry food will give me satisfaction. If I'm yearning for nice, wonderful music in the wakeful state, the gross world music will give me satisfaction. If in the gross world I have the requirement and it gives satisfaction, that's what is from the gross world. Here, there is nothing subtle about it. Like, for example, music. Often people think that, yeah, food, all those things are supposed to be gross, but music, all those things are subtle. No, even they're also gross. There is nothing subtle about it. Anything that you take from this gross world, it's supposed to be gross senses, the gross world that you are in. How much that we have that in the gross world. It's so interesting to see that. Like, for example, I was in Europe traveling various places around it, and I came to Frankfurt airport early morning. Nothing is really opened, and the only dim light is there, and I was walking. Suddenly, from one kiosk there, small little place, I heard a sound of nice, wonderful ghazal from Pankaj Udas. And I'm a fan of Pankaj Udas. The moment I heard, that my legs automatically took me there, gross world. And that person who is sitting there, he saw that I'm coming there. I didn't even notice because it's so dark. He said, Bhai Sahab, I said, wow, somebody is talking in Hindi also. Then he said, तो बैठिए, अब भारत से है, भारत जा रहे हैं. Said, हाँ, I came from India, I'm going back to. क्या बॉम्बे जा रहे हैं? Because you know, Pankaj Udas, Bombay people like him. मैं बेंगलुरु जा रहा हूँ. तो हाँ, बेंगलुरु का लोग भी जो है आजकल ये सब सुनते हैं. Then I asked him, which part of India are you coming from? And his answer was so sweet. Like, मैं तो कराची का हूँ. I'm from Pakistan. And he said, sir, ये सभी politicians के लिए है. Otherwise, we are all the same. What a wonderful feeling that he has. And then he went to sit down and he gave a coke to me. He said, सुबह सुबह आए हैं, आप पी लीजिए. See how the heart functions that. See, the gross world is there, but behind that heart is there. Makes me to do that. So your gross world is something which is very important, very necessary. But to see that it has to nurture the subtle world. So now slowly we'll get that idea. What do you mean by that gross world nurturing me, nourishing me? Is to see that not that physical body nourishing means that I build nice muscles, I build nice bones, nice this thing. That's not the idea. It tries to nourish my inner soul. And that's what is basically my emotion, that it can really strengthen that. That's what is real nourishing. A kind word can nourish you. A nice, wonderful music can nourish you. So this is what is basically that. He says that Vishwohi Sulamam Tattva, Taiyasya Praviviktam, the satisfaction of Pravivikta. Anything that is there in the imagination dream state is supposed to be strengthen your inside. Praviviktam, for your inside, strengthen inside. Any idea that I gave has to strengthen your inside. That's very important. Where is that? What is that insight that you have strengthened? It's your consciousness that has to be strengthened, or you become internally strong. Any activity that I give, I try to give such a way it should make you strong inside. And that is what is your willpower it has to increase. So Taijasaha is at the level of mind. And what is that mind? It can depress you, but it can also improve you in such a way that you become strong. All the Vedantic knowledge is supposed to make you strong inside. That's why we say, Sahano Bhunaktu has to lead you to Sahaviryam Karava. What is that Viryatva that you get? Is the strength of the consciousness or strength of your mind. Your willpower has to increase. Yes, I can do that. That's the kind of willpower that can has to give that. That's why he says that Taijasaha Praviviktam, ideas that we get. Like, for example, the beautiful story from the Vedas Upanishad that is there. When Parikshit was cursed that he will die in 7 days by snake bite. Parikshit was a great king and everybody likes him. When he got that curse, immediately he panicked. He went around various saints. See, as the curse like carrying, he said, we can't do anything. Only person who can help you in that is go to Shuka Maharshi. Then Parikshit goes to Shuka Maharshi and says that I have curse on me. In 7 days I will be killed. Shuka Maharshi immediately, with a smile, he says, congratulations. I am telling that I'm dying and then you say congratulations. Then Shuka replies saying that nobody knows in this world that he will give next day. We assume that we live forever, but nobody knows. At least you know for 7 days you are going to live. And 7 days is good time, you can do anything. You can realize God. See what a positive scope it is given. This is what is Pravivikta Bhakti. The Sukshma world, that means your mind has to be strengthened in such a way. And then he says, then where else can I go? Why don't I sit at your feet next 7 days? That's how the discussion that goes on between the Shuka and Parikshit is the one Srimad Bhagavatam indicated. Bhagavatam is a text which comes out of that positive stroke. Very important. Any knowledge that gives you inner strength is supposed to be the knowledge that you nurture inside. So, Vishwohi, Stolabuk, Yaktam, Taisasa, Praviptabuku, Anandabuku, Tatha Pragya, Tirtha Bhoka, Nibodaya. So that means all these three states are for the sake of for you to nourish. That's why I've been saying right from the beginning that these states are given for you to nourish. Anandabuku Tatha Pragya. The prajna, that means to say the deep sleep state, is to nourish you by ananda. It has to give you that state of ananda. Very important thing. We have that, we are in touch with our own nature called as ananda. Once we come in touch with our nature, that's what is ananda bhuku. Ananda bhuku tata prajna, tirtha bhuku, nibodha. So this is what is basically the idea of nourishment, or in other words, that your bhuku, that means to interact with the world outside. Your interaction, basically that this whole creation has been for the sake of interaction. So wakeful state interaction with the wakeful objects, dream state interaction with your mind, deep sleep state interaction is with your heart. Or whatever that you interact with your heart, which is supposed to be positive, let that be the part of you deep inside. Such heart or such emotions or such bhav you nurture in your mind, which can feel your strength, satisfied, happy. See that mother is not around, child will be crying, searching for the mother, where is it? At the moment mother comes, look at the child, happily sleeps. The same thing which happens to the whole creation itself. You sleep comfortably and you sleep peacefully like a child when you have that positive stroke of emotions that is there. So that's why Ananda Bhuku. Now, Trishu Dhamasu Yad Bhojyam Bhokta Yashya Prakirtitaha. So all these three different states. Now, what is that which is happening in the three states? This is what Gaudapada brings about this. See, these are not part of Upanishad. But Gaudapada analyzes these things. So what is this in three states? First state is this yat bhojyam bhokta yashta prakirtitaha. There is a bhojyam and bhokta. There is an object and experiencer or enjoyer. And both these things are necessary. Bhokta and bhojya. That is necessary. Like the wakeful state, you must be present there and you are enjoying that. Same way about this deep dream state. You are there and the dream world that you create. And that's what is bhokta. Bhojya, bhokta, yashta prakirtitaha. Vedvaita ubhayam yastu. Both these things are there, yastu. Na bhoktona na lipyate. It's a very beautiful statement that says that if you are really in the state of joy, bhojya and bhokta, that gives you that, but nalipyate. If you're holding on to that satisfaction, then it does not give you attachment. Nalipyate doesn't hold. Like, for example, hunger and food. The moment that you are satisfied, you hold on to that satisfaction, then the food does not become your attachment. Similarly, dream world, the moment that you go to the dream world and it gives you satisfaction, it does not become your attachment. The same way, right kind of a sleep that you have, there, Ananda Bhuku, Ananda Maya, there also, if you really sleep for the sake of that blissful state, then the sleep does not become like your attachment. Nalipyate, that was is Muktano, Nalipyate, even though that you are involved in, you are not attached to that. Yes, again you feel hungry, you go for food. Again you want to hear the music, you hear the music, but you don't have any attachment. The attachment comes basically when you feel that you hold on to that and beyond the level of satisfaction. And the level of satisfaction you go to, and then only that it happens. So therefore, that these three, see, now he has given that what are this instrument that we involve with? The first instrument is the body, second instrument is the mind, third instrument is the heart. First instrument is the gross world outside, object. Second object is the mind, thinking, processing, and all that. And third is the heart that you have. These are the three ananda, bliss. Similarly, he says that what is that which nourishes? The great gross world is for the sake of your senses, subtle world for the sake of your mind, and ananda is the way deep inside. This is what is the way that you nourish. So all these things are for the sake of your nourishment, all these things are going on. So that what happens is that these three states that you go through, you're interacting with these things, you're enjoying that. Now, let's continue with the discussion next week. And he says that you are somebody going through all these stages. Now he is going to slowly open up or unravel for us idea of what is the fourth. Many translators, once again, let me give you, they have first of all itself posited that there is consciousness, that's what is the first bit. All these things are Maya. Gaudapada or Upanishadkara never said this is Maya. He never said brought the word of Maya. It is something which is very important for us. Let's look at this way and see that how we can proceed. The Upanishad Rishi is kind to the world, manifest world outside. He is not rejecting the manifest world outside. Let's not put it that way. Let's try to understand in a positive sense. The world outside, manifest world outside. This is what is very important to see, that how we can bring together manifest world and unmanifest reality that is there. Both these things we try to put them together. Let's do that. We'll stop it at this level. Let's continue the discussion next week. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Any doubts, anything? Or next week we can take it up? Yeah.
Raghuramji, this yoga nidra, when we get into the state, so
Yeah.
which state are we getting into? In the
Yoga
deep-
Nidra?
Ah.
We are hovering between these two states. One is a deep sleep state, and then there is a bit of dream. And the idea is that dream instructions, whatever that is there in a different world, it is actually pushing you towards the deep sleep state. It helps you to go to the deep sleep state. It doesn't make you intense in the thinking phase.
But still we are able to listen to the instructions.
Right. That's why normally when I give the idea, in the beginning that we have too many instructions. Slowly as we proceed further, we should reduce the number of instructions. So that we should give more gaps for you to just live, mull on the state rather than the instructions. Very important that. In fact, I say that the fewer and fewer that the deeper and deeper that we go, instructions will be fewer and fewer. So that what happens is that instruction itself becomes like a bandhana. Now you get out of that bandhana of instructions.
And alcoholism, like when a person consumes alcohol, then which
Yeah.
state is the person entering in?
Alcohol is a state where he gets into the kind of a sleep state, but at that point of time, a lot of things which are there in the dream phase and all that, it's still working, still functioning. Only thing is it is suppressed to a level where he is not clear about that, what's happening. His inhibitions are still there, but then alcohol actually it suppresses these inhibitions. In fact, that's the reason why people take alcohol, because they can forget about their inhibitions. Especially the boss and subordinate, they're together, they drink alcohol. So that what happens is that now you're no more a boss. Chalta hai. That's the idea. Inhibitions go away. And it's actually that, that's why it is, these drugs and all that, you have to be in a positive state. Then you take drug, it enhances the positive state. But if you are in a negative state and take drug, the drug enhances your negative state itself. That's why one has to be careful.
Thank you.
So, welcome. And the most important thing is, you see, what we are trying to do is that we are trying to go to, which we have not yet done, but then the fourth state is supposed pure consciousness is opposite to forgetfulness. Alcohol and all that, they push you into forgetfulness. That is that even the instructions will make you to forget your supreme state, that is the conscious state. Okay, we'll meet next week. Thank you so much. Namaste to everybody.
Thank you, Raghuramji.
Thank you.